Buckle up and get ready for a roller coaster ride of some tasteless humor, lots of heart, and radical truth with two scrappy chicks. Because adulting is hard, but we are thinking that laughing about it is just so much easier.
Hey there. Welcome back.
Hey there, hi there, who there?
Yeah, you know, we're talking this week and we realize we really don't know who we are or what we are or, with
Yeah,
all
or
this
who are?
stuff that comes to light and stuff that's been going on for years and years.
Yeah,
So we are female. I do know that.
yes. And we are confused. And we are concerned.
Well, I don't want people get the wrong idea thinking we're going to do something.
No, no. No, it's just, I think we are at a point that people, well, at least I can't speak for everybody, but I do think there's a very decent movement for people understanding that they have to get to know themselves and really take the time to get to know other people in our relationships. And doesn't matter if that's an intimate relationship or if that's, your friendships, which I guess could be called, considered or called an intimate relationship, or co-workers, employers, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. So, let's get into our shame, because that's going to go into what pretty much is the bulk of what we're talking about today.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
Start us off. Go ahead.
shame. Um, you sent to me a thing you've seen on TikTok about body count and that it's more, correct me if I'm wrong, it's more men looking at the woman and her
Yes.
body count. And just so I'm clear, so people aren't like thinking, um, like, what do you mean by body count? Um, should clarify that it means how many people you've had knock with.
Yes. It is. And it's male driven. And literally this just came up in my feed a few days ago. And you and I were talking about it. That men like to ask women what their body count is, because what's really happening is that then they're trying to, it's a red flag. Let's just call it what it is. It's a red flag. No one, whether it's a man or a woman, right, Ginger?
Yep.
No one should be asking you that question. It's none of their business. And I don't think you should be offering that information either, because it's got nothing to do with this or that. It's got nothing to do with the kind of person that you are, regardless of what society or people try to tell you it means. Because you can have a very low intimate partner count and you can still be not such a great person. So that doesn't equal longevity, fidelity, responsibility, motivation, emotional maturity. It doesn't guarantee any of those things, does it? And we were talking too, and one of the things we were going to start with, and Ginger was going to talk about too, is the which kind of goes into this. Her name is Chantal Heide, Heide. You guys got to check her out. Canada's dating coach. That we don't take the time. When I say we, men and women, but I think especially women need to be especially careful and really perk your ears up and pay attention to take the time to pick the kind of person that you truly want to have in your life. And she's got a whole list of characteristics. And we were also talking about the disparity between a two income household, a man and a woman, but yet the woman is expected to be responsible for everything: the home, the grocery shopping, the care of the child, the care of the other adult partner in the home. And all that a man needs to do is have the job. And you'll get lucky if he'll take out the garbage. Am I wrong?
Yes. I mean, no, you're not wrong.
Yes, you are not wrong.
There we go. Well, um, here's the thing. Now, when I was first married, my ex mother-in-law, she worked until they had kids, and then she was at home doing all day, the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry. She didn't drive, so I presume that they either walked to school or took a bus. Um, and I swear every night, I don't even know if they did leftovers, but I swear every night she did like a 7-course meal. And I felt the pressure that that's what I was supposed to do. And how I grew up, there was such a gap between our ages. Um, but my mom did not cook a 7-course meal every day. We did do leftovers. Um, and we were talking about this like not too long ago where I believe it was made by Encore, and it was like turkey and gravy in a bag, and you took it out of the freezer and you threw it in boiling water, and that's how it cooked. And that was awesome with on bread. Every Sunday, I believe, was our Italian day where mom would make an Italian dish, even though she was Irish. Um, my mom did work until I was 4 as a waitress, and then she was home with me. And my dad worked 2 jobs, so I did not see him a lot. But um, she did the cooking and cleaning. And I will say this, when my mom was sick, my dad did step up and help out. And there's a picture of me in my pajamas, and my dad's in his pajamas, and he's acting goofy, and he's got the vacuum in his one arm because he was doing the vacuuming. So he did step up when my mom got sick to help out, but moms aren't supposed to get sick
Right.
because they got
Well,
to
and
keep
see,
everything running.
and you and I were talking about, see how we couch words. He helped out. He stepped up and took more responsibility for the home that he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guilty of this too. He helped out. He pitched in. He should be taking more responsibility.
Yeah.
We have to call things what they are, which is why you and I were, went down that rabbit hole too.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we? What are we? So,
Well, like I
right?
said, back then, and I didn't even realize this. I swore I heard it wasn't till the 70s where women could vote and then
Yes.
later on get a freaking credit card and stuff.
Well, I know that
Um,
women got the right to vote before that, but I think that a lot of women we're still under a really large control of their husbands, and we're not allowed to vote. We're just not allowed by their husbands to vote. And I know I can tell you from my mother, she was allowed to vote, but she didn't have anything in her name in her marriage. Not the car, not the house, no credit cards, not the bank information, zero. Everything was in my dad's name, everything.
okay.
And she didn't like that because, this was getting into the 80s. And, they say women's live, Ginger, but honestly, women were just looking to have more autonomy and more freedom in their lives. And that's how I see it, at least. And it's so interesting, too, that you said your mom was a waitress. My mom was a waitress, too. And before they divorced, I mean, she always had a part-time job. Sometimes it was in the evening, sometimes it was during the day, especially, because you and I were latchkey kids. Well, you might not have been because your mom was home.
Yeah.
But I was definitely a latchkey kid because towards the end, I did have to let myself in and take care of myself, until people got home from work or my sister got home from school. Um, but she was a waitress at Romano's. Remember Romano's?
Yes.
Yes. So she was a waitress at Romano's. Was a really great family-owned restaurant in Des Plaines that we all went to since we were little. Anyway, and then before that, she worked at a plastics factory in Des Plaines over there by Howard and White because they were like behind the duplexes over there. But then after that, she got into administrative and secretarial because she bought a typewriter, a used one, and she taught herself to type. And then that's how she elevated herself. She read a lot, she did the typing, and then got an office job and worked and just she had to work because she was getting a divorce and was getting out of that situation because she was done. So I digress, Ginger. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, that's okay. Um, but yeah, that's, pretty much how I grew up, and that's how things were back then. But, things started to change, like especially when you and I were having kids, that you had to sometimes have two people work just and now
Yes.
more than ever because
Yes.
the way things cost. I mean, the what people are being paid versus the cost of living, they're not equal.
No.
And so,
So right. So what you're saying is there used to be a time when the woman was, for the most part, home most of the time
yeah.
to do the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping, taking care of the kids, the household, etc. But then that was turned on its head after 80s and 90s, and then the women were working outside the home full time, and yet still have been expected to also be a full time housewife too.
Yes. And my business, I had one client where she's like, if it weren't for you, I clean and organize houses and offices, but she said if it wasn't for me, she would have probably have gotten a divorce. That I saved her marriage because um and it's funny because people will clean like the night before I get there and and it's funny, it's the wives and the husbands are like, why are you doing that when the cleaning person's come? Well, it's more so picking up. So I'm not like
Oh
doing
yeah.
pick up like to vacuum and stuff
Right,
like
right,
that
right.
and clearing the counters and stuff.
Okay.
That's what they do. Oh, and making sure that the sink is empty because if there's dishes in there, I mean, I can't clean the sink. So I thought about, well, um, think that, if you can afford it, because I know it's a luxury what I do, it really, helps,
Could be a
especially
solution. It could.
if the people are, married with kids
Yeah.
or with or without kids and they
And
both
I'm
work.
also willing to say, the man may work a full-time job, but maybe his full-time job is maybe just longer hours or maybe even more physically demanding. Maybe he's a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
And like you said, it would be helpful to have someone come in and clean once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, even to kind of take that pressure off of both of them.
Yes. I don't do laundry for anybody. Nobody has asked for me to do that. Um, some will say, "Hey, can you change my sheets?" Like they have extra sheets. Can you throw the other ones in the laundry? Oh, excuse me. Um, I mean, that's not a big deal, but if you don't have that luxury of having help from your parents or whatnot, or whether you have a cleaning service or not, and both work and you have a kid, you have to come to some kind of happy medium where the chores are divided equal. And I was saying to you, I said I should start another business where I am kind of like a mediator and be like,
Mhm.
like
Right,
I was
right.
telling you about the Seinfeld episode where Jerry wants to get a good deal on a car and Putty is the salesman and it's Elaine's boyfriend, but they broke up. So now Putty's not going to give him a good deal and he's in a bad mood. So he has to go and get Elaine and drag her back. And he's sitting behind Putty's desk and has them sitting in the chairs in front of the desk. And he's doing what is it going to take to get you two in a relationship? And they're doing like negotiations. And I thought of that and I was like, that would be a good idea to do that. Where, you know, I sit down with couples and be like, okay, well, she wants to do this or you want to do that. But I don't think it should always be the same for each one. I think you need to rotate and switch it up. Like if one's
Sure.
doing like the laundry, the other one's doing the dishes, and then you switch.
Yes.
I know.
And there's no written rule that you shouldn't just go ahead and pick up some slack
Mm-hmm.
just because, even if it's not on your agreed list. People, when you are in a relationship, you truly have to be that person that's there to love and support your partner. And if they don't feel it, they're going to grow resentful. And this goes for men and women. They're going to grow resentful and it's going to come out in other ways. And sometimes either the wife or the husband can turn a blind eye and be so dismissive that the only thing that gets them to wake up is when a person just says, I want a divorce, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't shoulder the burden for everything and hold down a full-time job and I'm not getting you as my partner. I'm not getting your support in this life that we are creating and or have created together. That's not
Yes.
fair.
Yes, I agree.
So it's just better to come together and figure that out because this men still have this, not all men, majority of men still feel like if he's married, he gets to have all this free labor, mental, emotional, and physical, even though she has to have a full-time job too and is fully in charge of the child. And I can just hear the men go, yep, no, no, not anymore. Times they are changing. And
Yeah.
if I have anything to say about it, I'm going to help push that movement right along.
And when, especially when a woman's like, asking for help, I don't think a man should be being like, well, I did this and this and that. I do this and this and that. It's not a competition,
Right.
nor should it be a shouting match or, an argument. Um, Things are different, the way
Yes.
things were and we were raised. So
Yes.
you guys, you have to put in the work and, I mean, let's just say this. It's nice when I go to leave for work and Dad says, hey, is there anything I can do to help you out today or the other day? Um, Grocery shopping. I was gonna make stuffed green peppers and he's like, is there anything I can do? Because I have to come in and put the groceries away. He gets out of the way because um I know where I put everything else and he has his own spot, but he's afraid if he puts it in the wrong spot, I'll be like, why is it put there? So he just stays out of the way so I can put the groceries away. And thank God for the pickup. Such a time saver. I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
that since before COVID. Such a time saver. And I was like, you know what? You could boil the water because I had to grab a couple more peppers. And wow, I it didn't take long to put away the groceries. I was able to cut up the peppers, and by the time I did all that, the water was ready. So I threw in the peppers. But you know what? I asked Alexa how long. She said 5 minutes. It was more than 5 minutes. I've been through this before where one time I forgot to boil the peppers first to soften them, and it took forever to cook in the oven. So it is definitely more than 5 minutes. I would say between 20 and 25 minutes. You don't want them too hard and you don't want them too soft.
Right.
And it was perfect and you got to be careful taking them out of the water that they're not ripping on you. So I was able to get them out into the baking pan, fill them up, and I think even Kevin said, "Oh, these were really good." Like the peppers was cooked perfectly. Jazz.
Well, and he offered, right? He didn't just
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
nothing. He actually offered. And doesn't that make you feel better about him and your relationship, just your
Hmm.
life in general?
Yeah.
When someone just offers to like, oh, okay, thank you. That's nice.
Yes, because it did make a difference, you know? And he does he will wash the sheets, change the bedding, towels when he sees the towels um pile up, he'll do that. We started doing our own laundry because he would put stuff in the dryer of mine, and I was like, don't go in there. So I went and bought a 4-section hamper, and one's for towels, one's for whites, one's for his, and one's for mine. Sometimes he'll ask, hey, I have a small load. Can you do it with yours? Because, well, now we know. I told him this is pretty much the only pants I put in the dryer are my pajama pants, but my work pants I hang. My t-shirts I hang. So it's pretty much my Huggies and my socks that
Right.
go in the dryer.
Right.
So, and then we have a
Yeah.
robot vacuum um that we can run, and it's supposed to wash the floor too. I've yet to do that, and I need to. Finally, I and this was the day, grocery day, Thursday, when I came home and did the peppers. I finally, earlier that morning, I threw in the bathroom rugs to be washed. And I steam cleaned the floor while the peppers were cooking. So that was a long day.
Multitasking.
Yeah, that was a long
And,
day.
and
So
I
when I'm
think the
done
thing too,
here, I'll
yeah,
probably be running the robot vac and maybe looking into the cleaning the floor feature, because it should know the difference between a hardwood floor and a carpet, I would think, when it comes to washing. So we'll see. So yeah,
well,
it's
and one of the things that we were talking about regarding that is that too often I think we all enter into a relationship, serious relationships, too quickly. And we don't know until we're in it, we're in the thick of it, that a person feels that way. And then and I think even when we get involved, like as women, we're like, oh, well, we're just supposed to do everything. We just kind of blindly go, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine, thinking that we can handle everything. And then we quickly find out that we truly can't. We're human. We're one person. We can't do everything, be all things to all people. And there's a woman that I just found out about that I just shared with you, Chantal Heide, Heide. I hope I'm saying that correctly. She's Canada's dating coach, and she's got a 3 month no kiss rule, no kissing, no sleepovers, nothing for 3 months, so that you can determine if this person that you met and that you're trying to get to know has these traits. And how this list came about, how I knew about the list, is she was doing a debate on what, Ginger? What was she debating? Body count.
yes,
Right?
yes,
And she would debate people, and she would say, are you here to debate on facts or feelings? Because your feelings don't matter. It's facts that matter. And that's when she brings up this list, because a person can tell you anything, whether it's a high number or a low number, doesn't automatically equal a good and responsible person, someone that you would want in your life. So I'm going to read off some of these really quick. Loyalty, devotion, responsibility, work ethic, confidence, kindness, thoughtful, attentive, affectionate, generous, intelligent, and communicative. And by the way, we will have in our show notes the link to her site. She does have a free book and a free book download, and also this list of the traits that you would want to look for in a partner. Because I'll tell you, my personal experience, none of the people that I had dated or been with or married or had children with, who I had honestly no business dating, marrying, and having children with, did not measure up to this list, even by a few. You know what I mean? So had I had this information before I got myself involved in these very serious, life altering relationships, making that kind of a decision for myself, very expensive decision, I would not have been with them at all. All I got to say is once you find her and you have to go to her TikTok where she debates these people, and she debates men and women. Let me tell you, this is not man bashing. This is not woman bashing. The books that she has and the lessons that she teaches is for men and women. Because there is a book that's called, oh God, I can't read it from here. She's got a bundle, but it's basically, about women when they get upset with their partner, their husband, boyfriend, man friend, whatever you want to call him, is doing certain behaviors, and oh, that a-hole, he's doing it again. And she said, no, you need to take responsibility that you didn't do your due diligence and vet him properly, because he's just doing what he's always done. You got involved, you kissed, made out, whatever, got intimate way too soon before you could determine if this person was going to meet these criteria for you for a long-term partner. And that goes both ways. And there's also, books for men, books for women. And she also has there's a meditation. She highly recommends meditation because you have to know yourself. You have to heal yourself. And that was, if you remember, Ginger, I told you back long ago when I made the decision to remain single, I knew I had to work on myself, and that my children and my life situation needed me to remain focused on me and my children and that life situation more than I needed to be involved in yet another intimate relationship, which I know would have been doomed to fail because I didn't have this information. I didn't have these tools. But with that being said, you can still be married or in an intimate relationship, and you can still turn the ship around if that person is also wanting to be invested with you in the same way, to have this love and support for one another and have each other's backs in a very healthy way, in a way that doesn't make that other person feel that they're not being loved and supported and respected, right? And I think that's the most important thing, don't you?
Yes.
That we're heard, and that we're seen, and that and you made a really good point, a really good example of, Das just saying, hey, is there anything that I can do to help you? Oh my God, those are golden words. Thank you. After you had to work all day, go to the store and do all these things that you're doing for the family, for the home. And that he could recognize, hey, you know what? She works hard. She's taking care of me. She's taking care of our home. What can I do to help with that? And then, and then there people are saying too, a lot of men will say, and I'm not saying this about Das, I'm just saying this is a side note because I just thought of this, where some men will say, hey, you know what? Give me a list of everything that you want me to do. Why is it up to her to give you a list? You don't live in that house. You don't know what needs to be done. Just do it. Do you remember, Ginger? Because, when you and I were growing up, it was very divided, right? Like the woman did take care of the inside of the home, or like my mom was a heavy gardener. And then Dad would do all the repairs or the home improvements, right?
Yep.
And the snow shoveling and the mowing the lawn, and like
Yep.
the division of responsibility in the home was very cut and dried, very clear. Like he never had to make a meal. My mom took care of that. He never had to clean the house or do the laundry. My mom took care of that. And we had pets, we had dogs. He never had to worry about that. But what he did take care of was the exterior of the home, right? He took care of the car. There were very clear cut and dry things. And I think now with women working full time, you can hire someone like yourself, you know what I mean, to help pick up that load. And we take our cars for oil changes. We're done. My dad used to do that for us. You know what I mean? He did that. You can take your vehicle to get it serviced. So why wouldn't you take it and have people come to your home too, to like landscapers, right?
Yes.
You don't have the time or the energy to, mow your lawn and do all the wonderful things that landscapers can do. There are services that you can do. And on the same token, that's what I mean. You have to delegate, you have to come together. And how do you do that? Through communication. I'll do this. I'm not thrilled about it. And I think it's a brilliant idea that you had, that you don't always have the same responsibilities. You can change back and forth. this week I do this, and next week you do that. And, you take our child to daycare, you pick up our child afterwards if they can, because, hours, obviously, right? Because sometimes that's
Yes.
not feasible,
Yes.
but things can be worked out. And what a wonderful world it would be for men and women to come together, as you pointed out so eloquently. It's not a competition. We are here for each other. It's not about me winning or you winning. It's about us winning together.
Yeah, because I don't like it when you're approaching, you know, whether it's the man or the woman, don't want to be
Right,
biased here, and they
right,
start listing, well, I do this and that. I mean, stop with the one up and,
right.
you know?
Because it doesn't matter, because there are still things that need to be done. And, if people are sick, then that person needs to take up more of the responsibility until that person is well, including taking care of that person when they're sick, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, it's gonna be, a little difficult, but this too shall pass. And then when you really build and work on that relationship and solidify that trust and that communication, I think that that's where really love is, right there. Is that you, especially, I know as a woman speaking, when you know that your man is there to put gas in the car for you, and you didn't ask, takes your car and cleans it off in the winter, right?
Yes. Or
Gasses it
washes
up,
your car in
gets
the
it.
summer.
Yes, yes. Gets your car washed. Gets the oil change. Make sure that you always have a full tank of gas. Um, these are such little things and really take no time at all. And I know as a woman, I can say, even when I could always call, because he was still my husband at the time, but we were separated. It didn't matter if it was 6 o'clock in the morning or not, and I was trying to go to work and my car wouldn't start. I could call him, and he would come and jump my car and help me get it started. If I had to, I moved offices just before he passed away. No matter, and he was ill. And had I known how ill he really was, I wouldn't have asked him. He came, and no matter and as sick as he was, he still helped me move. Didn't matter where I was, I could always call him and ask him for help, and he was Johnny on the spot. Now, I wish he could have done that when I was with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because by that point, I was already separated from him and living my own life. But it was nice because even though we live our own life, and I felt I had no other choice, because I think for people who don't know, he was an alcoholic till that alcoholism took his life. And I couldn't live like that day to day, every single day, as I had small kids to worry about, to raise. But had he been not drinking and had been that kind of a supportive person while we were together in our marriage and living together, our lives would have been very different. I don't even know if you were the one I was telling, but I'm like, had he not been a drinker, we probably would have been together to this day and had like 50 kids because I felt in a lot of ways we were well matched, but the alcoholism takes a toll on that person and the people around them. So anyway, I digress. It's just nice to have that support and that companionship, and to know that somebody really does have your back, and it doesn't take very much.
Yes. Oh, and really quick, the Tepe murder, there wasn't really much to update. I presume he's in Ohio, and that one thing that did come up, there was a clerical error and a court date was assigned, even though their marriage
Yes.
was
Just
dissolved.
just this past September, it was on the docket, and this information was released in June of 2025.
Yeah. So who knows if that was a trigger. And you sent me, and I'll put it in the show notes, Ashleigh Banfield, her YouTube, and she
Yes.
talks about this. And the one thing about now versus way back when, you can't get away with stuff because not only do you have cameras, and if you don't, your neighbor does. And then there's also the flock cameras that law enforcement uses. So they were able to um, Are they for sure saying that was him that walked past with the hood on and everything? Because I do know that they searched cameras of the neighborhood and that car left around the time that they're thinking that the murder happened.
Yeah.
And they were able to get a plate, and that's how they were able to trace it back to here, Illinois, and that
Yes.
his car. And I also read that they do have a weapon that matches the ballistics of the bullets.
Okay.
So, oh, and I don't know if we're gonna get into this, but another, wait, and before I get off the Tepe murder, I looked to see if they would have it televised. It's possible, so we shall see. And so far, he hasn't entered a plea. And the other one we're kind of following, um, is the actor, producer, director Timothy Busfield. Um, he was not released, and another person came forward. So I guess
Yeah.
stay tuned on that.
Oh, and do we also want to talk about Karen Reed's YouTube thing now? We
Oh
should put a link to
yeah,
that too.
Alan.
Yes.
Alan put out a little teaser coming soon. So I presume is it just
The
going to
Reed
be YouTube?
files.
Yeah, is it just going to be YouTube form or is it going to be both?
You know, good question. I don't know. I'm just excited for the YouTube. So in 2 more weeks, we'll know more. But we'll post a link for that too on YouTube.
Okay. So yeah, so we'll have a link for the read files. Chantal, that's from TikTok, right? That was her name?
Chantal, yeah. So she's
Yeah.
got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. She's all over the place. But that's how I found her was TikTok. And that's where I think you're going to find the really
Okay.
good debates on body count does not matter.
Okay. And then Ashleigh Banfield's link we will also
Yeah, and
include.
hers is called, her YouTube channel is called Drop Dead Serious.
Okay.
Okay, good
All right.
show.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
think
everybody. Stay
that
tuned.
that about it goes so quick, you
It
know?
does. It does. We have so much fun here with you guys. Thanks for coming and
Yes.
joining us.
Yeah,
And
so
more to come. Oh, and then in April, I know I announced on our Scrappy Chicks podcast Facebook group that Bonte is my favorite monk because he's the only monk that I know right now. He comes and does the sound healing meditation bowls, the singing bowls at the Path to Wellness Center. He usually comes once a month. He's going to be out of the country for a couple of months, but back in the middle of April. And he has agreed to sit down with me and do an interview. So I am very excited about that. And stay tuned because we will give you more information about that as well. And I think we did give a link last time, Ginger, for the Blue Lotus. We'll do that again too. So you can check out the kind of classes and stuff that they have. Oh, and then Path to Wellness will also start offering meditation courses.
okay. All right, sounds good. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't know. Like, subscribe, share. We're almost at 400 downloads. My goal is to hit 1,000. So,
Yes. Help us.
yes. All right. Till next week. And if you have
No.
any show ideas, people you want us to try to interview,
Yes,
let us
including
know.
you. Including you.
Yep.
All
And
right, everybody, take care.
yeah, and your mama.
And your mama. We love our Scrappy Peeps. So thank you all for joining us and becoming part of our flock. So please like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't like us, unfortunately, yo mama. But if you do like us, we look forward to seeing you next time on Two Scrappy Chicks.